Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, what I wanted to talk about today was this very disturbing story that was sent to me of a young individual, a young female, a young Black female, a young Black single mother in Italy, Texas. Once again, we got another case of them deleting their kids, just deleting their children. Oftentimes it's asked, well, what do we need men for? What does a single mother need a man for? She can have a child without him. She can have a child and she doesn't need the men. On the one hand, you'll have them asking for the men. Well, the men, there can't be a single mother without an absentee father and blah, 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 blah. They'll have all this rhetoric to say. And then they'll make certain that there's no man around. And then get angry when there is someone around to prevent them from doing whatever they want to do. We have to understand that the modern Black hyena, that's why the Black modern single mother hyena specifically, this is why she doesn't want men around her kids. She doesn't want the biological father around her and those children. She doesn't want other family members to be concerned about what she does with her children, because there are many of them, not everybody, but there are many of them that are engaged in a very sadistic, heavy kind of abuse to those children. Usually it's verbal, physical, and it is abuse in the form of neglect to a lot of these kids. And nobody's supposed to say anything. Nobody's supposed to say nothing. Not the father, not other family members. The children aren't supposed to speak up. Nobody's supposed to do anything, because a Black mother is always doing her best. And she's always, even under duress, even no matter what she does to the children, she's always the best answer and the best person for the children to be with. And most other hyenas will agree with that. We got this story coming out of Italy, Texas. I'm going to read the article. Let me share my screen. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see. Mother allegedly stabs 3 of her children to death, wounded 2 in Italy, Texas home. A mother is in custody and charged with stabbing 3 of her elementary school-aged children to death and injuring 2 others at a home in Italy, Texas on Friday. The mother was identified as 25-year-old Shamaya Hall of Forney by Star Telegram. Child Protective Services told WFAA that all 5 children were siblings. Hall allegedly stabbed the children when a CPS worker dropped in unannounced to check if Hall was having unsupervised visits with her children. CPS had previously placed the children with another relative. CPS had been at a home on the same street where the crime took place and then quickly called for help, according to the Ellis County Sheriff's Office. So they were visiting another house, and I guess for whatever reason got alerted to what was going on in that house. It's a lot of this story that's missing. Anyway, paramedics responded to the call at a home in the 300 block of South Harris Street near Stafford Elementary School at around 4 p.m. Ellis County Judge Todd Little told WFAA in a statement that he believed the children's mother was a suspect, but the investigation is ongoing. The 2 children who were wounded were transported via helicopter to hospitals. Italy is about an hour south of Fort Worth. And then I'm going to stop sharing this one. And I am going to share another little article here that sort of goes into who this Shamaya lady is. Okay, who is Shamaya Hall, North Texas woman arrested after allegedly stabbing 3 of her children? Police arrested a mother in Italy, Texas, after she allegedly stabbed 3 of her children to death and injured 2 more of her children Friday. Sources said 3 elementary school age kids, a 6-year-old and 2 5-year-olds, so I'm guessing twins, were found dead inside a home near Stafford Elementary School in the small Ellis County town on Friday afternoon. 2 other children, a 4-year-old and 13-month-old, were injured and were transported by helicopter to a local hospital with stab wounds. Their conditions are unknown. CPS confirmed to WFAA that all 5 children were siblings. Now we're learning more about the mother, identified as Shamaya Hall, and her criminal history. This is not the first time she's been arrested for allegedly stabbing someone, and it's not the first alleged fatal stabbing tied to her family either. Hall, according to arrest records obtained by WFAA, is a 25-year-old resident of Forney, Texas. She had been previously arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after allegedly stabbing her sister's boyfriend in 2017. So did this one like stabbing. The children had been previously placed by CPS under the guardianship of another relative. I guess not the father. They're not saying it's the dad. I got my theory. But anyway, sources with CPS told WFAA that Hall allegedly stabbed her children when a CPS worker who suspected the mother was having unsupervised visitations with her children arrived at the scene to check on her unannounced. Hall's twin sister, Troy Shea, wow. Okay. Troy Shea Hall was arrested for allegedly stabbing and deleting her 7-year-old daughter in June of 2021. Wow. According to an arrest affidavit. In October of 2021, Troy Shea was ordered to go to North Texas State Hospital in Vernon. Shamaya Hall was booked into the Wayne McCullum Detention Center and has been charged with 3 counts of capital murder. A judge has issued $2 million bond for each charge, totaling $6 million. Okay, so we're gonna stop. So you and your sister off y'all kids. I'm gonna talk about this unsupervised visit stuff. You took the children from her because obviously she is an abuser and she is a dangerous person to be around. Okay, there had to be some form of abuse that CPS substantiated at some point, and then brought the kids to maybe a cousin or aunt, mother, somebody. They brought the children to. They didn't specify which relative. Although I note that a lot of times they will avoid, even under these circumstances, taking a child to their fathers. Even if the fathers are known, even if the fathers want the children, are asking for the children, they have a hard time giving the children to their dad. They're giving anybody but their dad. Now, we don't know where the father is or anything like that, or whether or not he was available to even take the children. But somebody had the children. Likely, this is a female relative that has these children. And even though CPS removed the children from Shamaya's home and put them in a relative's home, the relative was still like, girl, you come on here see these kids. Okay? Knowing that the visit should not be unsupervised. I'm pretty sure they tell you very, very clearly when a visit should not be unsupervised. And they usually do that when they are afraid that the parent that's visiting is an abuse and a potential danger to the children if no one else is around. So usually they will say this person, this parent cannot have unsupervised visits to these children under any circumstance. That being her cousin, auntie, whoever that was to her, decided that it didn't matter whether or not she should be supervised. Now, girl, you come see these kids, because a mother in the Black community can do no wrong, even when she's obviously doing wrong. She can't do any wrong. She's never wrong. That get me. That do something to me. That really do something to me on a personal note. She can't do nothing wrong. No matter what abuse the children say they going through, and these was young kids, so they might not have been able to truly articulate exactly what was going on with them or what she was doing to them or why it was so bad. The oldest one seems 6 years old. So They can't exactly articulate it. They can say something, well, she hit me or she do this or she do that. But it's a little kid. They're little children. So little children don't have the vocabulary that it takes to truly express the depth of the abuse that they are experiencing at the hands of their mother. And then on top of that, they're probably scared to death to say anything to anybody about it. So who knows how this is a lot of missing to them stories. Who knows where that started? Who picked up on the fact that there was abuse and who reported it? Because she wasn't going to do it. The children were too small to do it. So was it the school? Was it another relative? Was it somebody else? Was it the father that is trying to get the kids and no, she abuses them? We don't know who's doing what. So they failed to say that part of the story. How did they even recognize that these children were in trouble to the point where CPS actually made a move to say, you know what, let's remove them from her immediate custody and possession and put the children in another relative's custody, away from her. And if she wants to visit them, then she has designated times and whatever. And people have to be there. Another adult has to be present while she's visiting these children. They're not telling that story. They're not telling what the CPS worker that was supposedly visiting somebody else on the block, why that worker got alerted to what was going on in that house. Did they hear screaming? What did they see? What did they hear? To go in and find children passed away. Because see, it don't really make no sense, because first they said that the CPS worker dropped in unannounced, which would indicate that the CPS worker was actually coming there specifically to that place to visit with her to see if the visits were going on unsupervised. And then in another sentence, they're like, oh, well, the CPS worker was already visiting somebody else and then got alerted and then called the police. That doesn't make sense. There are a lot of holes here, a lot of missing information. So we're left to sort of put two and two together the best we can. But I know that whoever that relative is needs to be locked up too, because you allowed her to visit those children without supervision, because no matter what kind of abuse she was putting them kids through, you don't care about that. Don't nobody care about nothing but the mother's feelings. In the Black community, Black women, Black mothers are gods, even when they demons. So nobody cares about how the fathers feel. Nobody even care about how the children are feeling when they undergo abuse by her. The only thing that anybody ever care about, or anybody ever supposed to care about, is how the mother feels when her children are taken from her, or when this dynamic is broken up. We're supposed to have a lot of sympathy even when she's an abuser. We're supposed to be sympathetic to, oh, well, she misses her kids. Well, the kids don't miss it. The kids don't miss getting beat on or whatever they was getting. I guarantee you they don't miss that. Even if they say, I miss my mom, the part that they don't miss is when she go upside their head. They don't miss that. A little kid saying they miss their mom is the response of a child to a mother. That's instinctual. That doesn't erase the fact that they're going through abuse by her. And that doesn't mean that they want to go into the abusive situation with her. They miss their mom, and they wish that the part that a lot of children can't articulate is, I miss my mom, but I wish that she wasn't abusing me. I want the mother that sometimes show up and be loving to me and be my mom, because abusers switch off like that. They abuse you in one instance, and in the next instance, they being nice to you. That abusers usually operate that way. Abusers go into the honeymoon cycles. Even when it's a parent to child, they go into honeymoon cycles with them. After heavy abuses, then they'll like do things that the child like. Give them a party or buy them a toy or spend time with them without the abuse, or they'll be nice to them somehow, get them something, pet them, hug them, tell them how much they love them. And that's the part that the child cling to, because that's a child and that's what they're going to do. It pull the child back in emotionally to them and bring them close, only to start the cycle of abuse over again with the child. So the child is not only physically tormented, they psychologically tormented as well. This one ends up deleting them 3 out of 5. She was trying to get all 5. And whoever the relative was, you let her do it. Because a mother is supposed to be able to have access to her children no matter what she might do to them. Your sister already did it. And nobody thought she was capable of this. When she was in 2017, stabbed her sister's ex-boyfriend. So this is a stab. These two sisters like stabbing folk. And didn't nobody think that was within her to do, within her capability to visit that type of violence and that type of death on her kids. Because as a mother would never do that. I'm getting real tired of this kind of thing. This is why I stopped making these reports. But it's so many of them. And I get tired of the rhetoric that surround Black single motherhood, and people like to defend the pathology that come with it. There's a pathology that come with it. What we're witnessing is the absence of the men for too long. Women descend not only into the chaos of foolishness and twerking and acting. Not only that, it get into a deadly space where these women don't have the anchor of reality, that they don't have no anchor for it. Nothing anchors them to it. Nothing pulls them out of their emotional space to come to a logical space where they can think about things rather than feel things. It's dangerous being an emotionally driven creature. And don't nobody like to attribute this type of stuff to women based on our propensity to be almost completely consumed with an emotion or a line of thought that is driven by a particular emotion or a particular set of emotions. Without any spiritual guidance, without any structure, without anything to bring a woman back into reality, she will go further and further into the chaos and the fantasy and the emotions, because emotions don't make no sense. Emotions do not make sense. Emotions are not logical. They are not rational. So men are necessary to create the counterbalance to that, because men be rooted in reality most times. They don't go so far into the chaotic space. So the counterbalance energy that men do is what they'll do is they will come, or just them being present, just men being present around and seeing stuff as it come down the pike and say, oh, no, we're not going there. We're not going to do that. We're not doing it. This can't happen. That can't happen. Too many generations of women being in charge, too many generations of a gynocracy where the men don't have enough power to exercise basically a coup. Get y'all out of here. Get y'all out of that spot. Black women do not need to be in this spot. And then y'all cry about being in the spot. Oh, we masculine because we gotta take care of everything. And then when men come along and say, okay, now move out of the spot, then you fight to remain. You fight to remain in the spot because you want to be able to do this type of stuff. Unfettered. Unbothered. Nobody check you. Nobody talk to you. Nobody rein you in. Nobody sit you down. Nobody stop you from the foolishness that you want to engage in and that you actively engage in. And then it become deadly. But nobody want to talk about it. Because Black mothers are always doing their best. And if they do something to their children, then it was because of some extraneous circumstances surrounding her and her mental health, and somebody needed to help her. Yeah, but when somebody was help was telling her to go somewhere and sit down. Help was taking them kids out of her possession and putting them somewhere else. Help would have been, hey, I know that me and you as cousins or whatever the relation is between us, but you cannot come see these children unsupervised. Now, I'm not going to be here, such and such time, and blah, 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 blah. And you can't come. You gotta wait. You mean I gotta, and you let her argue and y'all don't want to confront her and all that. Man, forget her feelings. Don't nobody gotta think about that. Forget her being angry. So what's she mad? She stay mad every day. She mad every day. So somebody's supposed to cater to that because she upset. She upset all the time. When is she not upset? What, you was scared for your life, but the kids wasn't supposed to be scared? Anyway, I needed to bring this to y'all's attention. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Also, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I drop content, and I drop content every day. All right. Once again, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. And I'm your host, the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hello, my Crimsonites and all of my supporters. I invite you to go and get your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale now at crimsoncure.com. This is guaranteed to change your perspective and positively impact your life. So go ahead now to crimsoncure.com and get your copy today.